Get some Jack Johnson. Can everyone hear the music all right? I'm going to take that as a yes. All right, everyone. Let's find our space today for our deep stretch workout. Just remember to listen to your bodies. Do what feels good. Ask for adaptations if you need it, and keep some water nearby. Let's start in our standing neutral position on our mat. We'll get our feet under our hips. Arms are relaxed down by our sides, and we're just going to start with some shoulder rolls today. So nice big shoulder rolls. I'm going to take my shoulders up to the ceiling, pull them back to the wall behind me, push them down to the floor, and push them forward. And let's start to take those big breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth as we move that shoulder. Just kind of feeling all that musculature in your neck, in your back, everything that surrounds that girdle of your shoulder. And let's go ahead and switch the direction. So reversing the movement, now pushing those shoulders forward, down and back. You can keep your arms down by your sides, or you can have them out in a T, just kind of mini shoulder rolls, but I feel I get a little more arm or shoulder movement when they're down by my sides. We're going to do some protraction and retraction of the shoulders. So I'm going to get my arms up, kind of in fists in my armpits. And then I'm going to push my hands out away from me. So kind of doing like a push up. And then I'm going to pull my arms back. Yes, so kind of like a row. So push out in front of me and pull. So just moving those shoulder blades around our rib cage, push and a pull. Good. And when we're pulling back, we're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. When we're pushing away, we're really pulling them apart. Good. Still taking those deep breaths. We'll exhale as we push away from ourselves. Inhale as we pull. Exhale and push away all the bad thoughts from today. Pull in all the good. And let's go one more breath here. We can let those arms fall back down by our sides. Let's go ahead and place our hands on our hips, and we're just going to do some kind of stir the pot with our hips. We'll start by going clockwise direction. So I'm just taking my hips forward, to the side, back around. Just a nice circle. And we'll go 3 clockwise, and then you'll switch it up and go 3 counterclockwise. Just keeping the feet stationary, moving the hips around, taking those breaths. We can take these at whatever pace feels good. You can take them real slow or a medium pace. Let's go just a couple more breaths here. And let's go go ahead and pause right in the middle. We're going to widen our stance out about 2 times outside of our hips. We're going to point our toes slightly outward to the right and left. I'm going to take a slight bend in my knees. Hands are still on my hips. And I'm just going to rock my weight over to the right, straightening out my left leg. Then I'll come back to center. Take my weight over to the left, straightening out my right leg. And we'll just rock there very gently. So nice, kind of a wide squat. Cossack lunge, stretching those inner thighs. Just getting the knees and the ankles moving. Good. And it's okay for my torso to rise in between each one, or I can stay with my knees bent, kind of keeping my torso at the same level as I rock side to side. Good. Let's go 2 more breaths. In through the nose, out through your mouth. And let's step our feet back underneath our hips in that neutral standing position. And we're going to do our sun salutations, of course, one of my favorite movements. We're going to start in that neutral standing position. And then we're going to take our arms, take a big inhale through the nose, arms out to the sides, up overhead. Then we are going to exhale and forward fold. So reaching hands down towards our feet. We're going to inhale, straighten out our back, take our hands to our shins and just lift ourselves about halfway up. Exhale, full forward fold once again. And we'll take our big inhale, taking our arms out to the sides, up overhead, palms together, lowering in front of our face and our chest, and repeating. We'll take that inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Holding it there for just a second, feeling that stretch along the back of the leg. Inhale, half lift. So flattening the back, taking hands to shins. Exhale, full fold. Big inhale, arms out and up, palms together, lower in front of the face and chest. Let's go one more time. Big sun salutation, big inhales, arms up, reaching as high as we can go. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, pushing the hips back as we flatten our back. Exhale, forward fold. And last big inhale, reaching up, palms together and down. Lovely. All right, now our muscles are a little warmed up, breathing rates raised just a tad. We're going to stay standing for our first flow, and we're going to get in a lunge position. So from my neutral standing position, I'm going to step my left leg just about a normal steps width away. And I'm going to step my right foot back about 2 paces back. So now I'm in a nice wide lunge stance with my left leg forward. My back foot is slightly turned out to the right. So my right foot is slightly out. My left toes are pointing directly ahead. And in this lunge here, from here, let's get our hands on our hips, and we're just going to slowly lower our weight into that front leg. And play around with your stance if you need to. You need to make it wider or narrower. Doing what feels good. And then making sure our hips might be open to the right. See if we can turn them just a little bit to face forward. It's okay if they're a little out turned to the right, but we're wanting to get that stretch. Is there a question?
No, I just made a noise.
Oh, that's all right.
Fell.
Oh no, make sure we're using supports where we need, walls or chairs. All right, from this standing lunge, let's take our hands off of our hips. And if we're using a support, that is okay. If not, we're going to inhale, raise both arms up overhead. So fingertips to the ceiling, biceps are on either side of my ears. Just a lengthened lunge, warrior one. Just holding here, and we can rock our weight. So if you need to straighten that front knee and bend it again, adding a little rock, a little movement to your lunge, warrior. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower your hands to the mat on either side of your left foot. And we're going to switch out our feet. So you can step your right foot to your left and switch, stepping the left foot back, right foot forward. So now we're in a deep lunge position or lunge position on the right side. My left leg is lengthened behind me. My right leg has my knee bent. And I can put my hands on my hips again, sitting in that lunge. And remember that feeling of kind of turning the hips a little more towards 12 o'clock. It's okay if they're slightly open outward.
Katie, are we dropping down our back heel when we do the lunge, or are we just up on our toe on our back leg?
It would be, you would get a little deeper of a stretch if your heel's all the way down. If we don't have that range, It's okay to be on your toe as well.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get into that warrior one. So while we're in that lunge position, taking a big inhale, both arms up overhead, reaching, fingertips to the ceiling, ears between biceps. And add that rock if we need to. So straightening out the front leg and pushing the knee forward. Make sure we're breathing. This is one of those easy ones to hold your breath. On your next exhale, go ahead and lower those hands down to the mat on either side of your right foot now. And let's get a nice solid foundation with our hands. And we're going to go into down dog. So stepping my right foot back to meet my left. Hands are down, toes are down on the mat, and I'm going to raise my hips up and push them back into down dog. We can also modify with a child's pose or a puppy pose if we would like. And if we're in that down dog, just pushing the hips up and back as far as we can, pushing away from our palms. We can pedal those heels, right heel down, left heel down. Just getting that nice stretch in the entire back of the leg. go 2 more breaths. Let's go ahead and bring our right knee down to the mat between our hands, setting up for pigeon pose. We can drop our left leg down as well, let it trail long behind us. My right knee is kind of folded underneath my torso. And I can stay here with my arms kind of hands on either side of my knee, or I can lower myself down to my forearms, kind of staying folded over that knee. And if you need a little more stretch than that, you can take that right shin and try to get it parallel to the top of the mat, kind of opening up the hip a little bit more. I don't have that range, so I just stay folded over my knee. We're just doing what's comfortable here, taking some breaths, relaxing now that we're down on the mat. You can add a little rock side to side. Let's keep this right leg in front, but let's get our foot flat on the mat, and we're going to now send our hips back into our left leg, bending the knee, straightening out our right leg for a runner's lunge or a half split. We'll just hold it here, feeling that stretch along the entire back of the leg, primarily in the hamstrings. And the more you pull your toe towards your shin, the more stretch you will feel. So play around there. See if you have any tension or soreness. Think about the activities you could have done to make it sore. We'll take just a couple more breaths here. And hands are using a support, a chair or a wall, or that you're down on the mat, or they're resting on your leg, whatever you prefer. Let's go ahead and bring that right foot back, kind of bringing ourselves to a tabletop position. So knees are under hips, hands are under shoulders, feet are trailing behind me. And we're gonna transition into that other side. So we can stay here and do some cat-cows, or we can go back into a down dog. Taking that big inhale, raising the hips up and back. And let's transition into that pigeon now on the other side. So I'm going to drop my left knee now between my hands. Let my right knee lower, trail that right leg long back behind me. Holding my body kind of over that left knee and staying up on my hands or lowering down to my forearms, whatever feels good. Just feeling that left glute loosening up, the hips. We can add that gentle rock if you'd like. Kind of taking the hips side to side. Get to roll out your shin bone a little bit, or your tibialis anterior, which is the muscles in front of your shin. Keep those breaths going. Let's transition into that runner's lunge. So we'll take the left foot, plant it on the mat, take our hips back into the right leg, extending the left leg long out in front of us, planting the heel down, pointing the toes up. Hands are on supports to my sides, on my hips, or on the mat. Feeling a nice stretch along the entire back of the leg, primarily hamstrings. And as I said, we're flexing that foot, pulling the toes towards our shin. Get a little deeper stretch there. But we never want it to hurt. We just want it to stretch and feel good. Never pushing the limits. Take a couple more breaths. And let's go ahead and find our way to a seated position on the mat. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water, but we will be sitting all right. Once we've found a nice comfortable seated position, let's go ahead and extend our legs long out in front of us. Heels down, toes up. We're going to take a nice big inhale. Reach both arms overhead, fingertips to the ceiling. We're going to exhale, forward fold, reaching fingertips towards our feet. And those fingertips might land all sorts of places. They could be on your shins, or your ankles, or your foot, or maybe over your toes. We all have a different range. And range is trained most of the time. So the more you stretch, the more flexibility you will have. Let's just take those nice, deep, restorative breaths here, seeing if with every exhale we can reach just a little further. We're also using this as an opportunity to stretch our shoulders with that reaching, just kind of separating the shoulder blades from the rib cage. Let's go ahead and inhale, slowly rising ourselves back up. You can trace your fingertips along in front of your shins and your thighs. Let's widen our feet outside of our hips, and we'll repeat that same movement of a forward fold. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale now, reaching, folding out in front of us, but now we are between our feet. Our feet are nice and wide, so now we're getting a little inner thigh stretch, hip stretch. Every exhale, seeing if you can reach a little further. On your next inhale, go ahead and slowly raise yourself back up to seated. Let's bring the legs back together and keep them extended long out in front of us. And we're going to go for that Barbie on the beach stretch. So I'm going to hug my left knee into my chest, and I can stay here or stepping right foot over left knee and hugging it in there. Then I'm going to twist my body or turn my shoulders and chest over to the right. My right arm can trail behind me, just kind of as a support. Feeling a nice stretch in that right glute. Remember, we're holding stretches for a minimum of 30 seconds. Science-based, the stretch reflex takes about 30 seconds. And it is fun how you can really feel your body release sometimes. You can feel that reflex actively happening. And when you breathe through it, it's just kind of a reminder to your body to let go. Let's go ahead and release that right leg. Let it stretch back out in front of us. We'll reset our hips and our posture. Now we'll hug that left knee into our chest. Sitting up tall and proud, of course. And we can stay here or step left foot over right knee. Hug it in there. And turn your chest and shoulders now to the left. Left arm supports behind us. Feeling a nice stretch in the left glute. Or glutes, I should say. Keep those breaths in through the nose, out through your mouth, expanding the chest as much as possible. Go ahead. Release that left leg back out long. Reset the hips, and we're going to go into a butterfly stretch. So we'll pull the heels in towards our body. Bring the soles or bottoms of our feet together and let our knees fall out to the sides. We'll sit here for just a second. We're going to sit up tall. We're going to add a side bend. So I'm going to raise, I can keep my left hand kind of on my feet to be secure. I'm going to inhale and raise my right arm up overhead, fingertips to the ceiling. And I'm going to lean my body over to the left, reaching overhead with that right arm over to the left. Kind of a seated butterfly side bend. Really feeling a nice stretch and loosening in the right side. See how far we can reach those fingertips away from our shoulder. Let's exhale, come back to center, and we can bring that right arm down. Hold the butterfly for just a couple seconds, couple breaths. And let's keep our right hand on our feet. Raise our left arm up and overhead, fingertips to the ceiling. Big inhale and exhale, reaching over now to the right side. Feeling that nice stretch along the left side of our body, upper body. And let's exhale. You can bring that left arm back to center and down, sitting back in that standard butterfly, and we can lean ourselves forward. Just a couple breaths here, really deepening that inner thigh stretch. And let's go ahead and transition into a lying position on the mat. So we'll be lying on our backs and find whatever way is most comfortable to get down there. And we'll just start lying with our legs extended long and our arms down by our sides. We can just relax here for a moment, take a few breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Kind of feel yourself melt into the floor. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and hug the right knee into our chest. Keeping our left hip planted. We don't want it to rise off the mat. So left leg stays long and planted. Right knee is hugged into the chest. And let's add some ankle circles. So we'll go clockwise, ankle circles, nice and slow. And let's switch it to counterclockwise, ankle circles. It's kind of a tongue twister. We can pause those ankle circles and keep the knee hugged in, but just slowly rock it left to right. Kind of mobilizing the femur in that hip joint. It's one of my favorite joint names, femoral acetabular. It sounds like a fun word, like fantastic or fabulous. But it's a joint. Let's go ahead and exhale, and we'll release that right leg back out long, and let's give the left leg some love. So we'll bring the knee into the chest and give it a big hug. And we'll start with those ankle circles clockwise. And just noticing things about your body. It might be easier to draw ankle circles with your right one than your left, or they might be faster or just easier to move. And let's switch it to counterclockwise ankle circles. And let's pause the ankle circles, and we'll take the knee, keeping it hugged in, but we'll just gently rock it left to right. Let's go ahead and extend that left leg back out long. We can shake out the hips a little bit and reset. And then we're going to hug both knees into our chest. Give them a hug and just kind of rocking left to right, up and down, massaging out the low back. Taking some nice breaths. We're going to transition into a happy baby. So you can stay here if the knee hugs feel good and just rocking back and forth. Or we'll do a happy baby stretch. So I'm going to reach and grab the bottoms of my feet with my hands. And I'm going to keep that grip on my foot as I extend the knee up and the foot up to the sky. So now my foot is parallel to the ceiling. My arms are holding the bottoms of my feet. And I'm going to add that gentle rock again. So left to right. Kind of like I'm a happy baby in a crib. Stretching out that inner thigh. Massaging out the low back. Great stretch. Let's go ahead and release the feet. We can let the legs go long again. We're going to repeat on the right side. So we're going to flex the right foot, and I'm going to take the foot up to the ceiling, keeping the leg as straight as possible. So just kind of another lying leg stretch. And I'm using my hands on the back of my right thigh to support, but I'm going to keep my leg as extended and as straight as possible as I hold it up to the ceiling. And we can point the toes and flex the foot here, just mobilizing that ankle in another direction. And on your next exhale, let's go ahead and drop that right leg over to the left for a lying twist. So right foot will come to the floor. And then we're going to turn our head and shoulders, well, just our head to the right. And I can extend my right arm out from the shoulder and turn my nose towards my right fingertips. Sometimes in this lying twist, it helps to have a pillow or a blanket or something to support under your knee. So definitely use that where needed. Make sure we're taking those deep breaths and just relaxing, sinking into the mat. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and raise that right leg back up to the ceiling, holding it for just a couple more seconds. And we'll drop it back down, extended long, very slowly. And we'll switch sides. So when you're ready, take that big inhale, raise the left leg up towards the ceiling, so foot towards the ceiling, keeping the leg as straight as possible, using the hands on the back of the thigh to support the leg. We can point the toes and flex the foot. And let's go ahead and do that twist. So I'm going to drop the left leg over to the right until the foot meets the floor. I'm going to take my left arm out and away from my shoulder. And I'm going to turn my head and nose towards my left hand. Nice gentle twist of the spine, the lumbar spine, thoracic spine. Take those breaths. Try to release any tension or guarding that you feel where your body is guarding. On your next inhale, let's raise the left leg back up towards the ceiling, straightening it out. And we'll bend at the knee and go ahead and bring that left foot flat to the mat, and we'll bring the right one to meet it. So feet are flat on the mat. We're still lying and knees are up to the ceiling. We're going to do a little more of that gentle twisting of the spine. So from here, we can put our arms, keep them down by our sides, or put them out in cactus arms. So bending the arm at 90 degrees, fingertips up. And we're going to drop both knees together down over to the left. So now a nice gentle twist just in that lumbar spine area. Feel your chest rise with every inhale. Let's go ahead and inhale, bring the knees back to center. And then we'll exhale and drop them over to the right, very slowly, very gently. One more breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring the knees back to center. And find a comfortable way to roll over. So our bellies are down on the mat now. Our legs can stay extended long out behind us. And let's make a pillow for our forehead with our hands. So hand over hand. Rest your forehead, and we can just shake our hips out left to right. And we can take them up and down. So right hip towards your right shoulder and opposite, so left hip to left shoulder. Just kind of wiggling the hips in all sorts of ways that we can move them. And we're going to go into a little bit of stretching our quads. We'll show the quads some love. So let's bring our right heel to right glute. And we can just stay there, or we can use a yoga strap or a belt or our hand to reach for our right ankle and pull it closer to that glute. And you may feel the glutes tightening up, trying to guard here. See if you can just release and let the stretch happen in that front of the right leg, right quads area. Let's go ahead and release that right leg back out long. We can shake out the hips right to left. And we'll switch sides, bringing left ankle towards left glutes now. Staying there or reaching around with our left hand to grab our left ankle and pull it closer towards the glutes. I do recommend using a belt or a strap here if that's a little more comfortable. On your next exhale, go ahead and release that ankle. Let the leg go out long again. Shake out the hips. And let's make our way up to a tabletop. So I'm going to push my chest off the ground. Bring my hands under my shoulders. Extending the elbows so my arms are extended. Knees are under hips. Back is nice and flat. And I'm going to widen out my knees to the sides of my mat or just outside of my hips. Take a nice big inhale and we'll shift the hips back towards our heels, keeping the arms extended out in front of us for a child's pose. And we're just going to alternate the movements between child's pose and tabletop. So we'll push our hips back up, rocking back forward again into tabletop, or we can even push the hips forward and extend a little longer and go back into child's pose. So just alternating, taking whatever pace feels good to you, using the breath. Exhale as we go back into tabletop. Inhale as we sit back into child's pose. Remember to keep that inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Let's go ahead. The next time you get down into that child's pose, let's just stay there, holding the child's pose stretch, taking some breaths. We can leave our arms extended out in front of us, or we can do kind of prayer hands behind our head, or we can even take both arms down and through our legs towards our feet. So there's a lot of different ways to hold a child's pose. So I recommend you experiment, find something new, find something that feels good. This is where we're going to end today. So just taking some deep breaths, getting comfortable, using supports and pillows where needed. I always like to have a pillow under my knees. Take a nice big breath in through our nose. and out. Exhale all of your breath from your lungs, all the bad energy from the day. Let it all out and bring good energy, good vibes in as we prepare for the weekend. You can slowly release out of that child's pose, walk yourself back up to a tabletop and find whatever way is comfortable to come back to standing. And I hope you all had a wonderful stretch session today. I hope you're feeling a little more relaxed and ready for the rest of your great day. Thank you so much.